Hi, this is Catalina at United and Central Banking. This call is being recorded and may be used in future promotions. You can leave a message at any time. Our system detects you are using an analog phone with a function button at the top of the phone. To leave a message, press the function button firmly and hold this down until you have finished speaking. Why not try it now? Try saying this is a test, or, if you prefer, tell me something about you. It doesn't need to be true. Please try now. Recording now.
This is a test.
We need to know your country of residence. Please firmly press and hold the function button on the top of the phone until you have finished speaking. Please tell us your country of residence now. Recording now.
England.
At United and Central, we pride ourselves on the trust we have built up with our customers over 80 years of business and domestic banking. We would like to share some of our products with you. Please hold on. I am accessing this information now. From high-interest savings accounts to mortgages and share dealing, United and Central has a financial product that's right for you. I'd like to know your name, please. You don't have to tell me, but it might make it easier. Just your first name would do. Again, please press and hold the top button while you say your name, then release. Recording now.
Sarah Louise.
To know which offers are the best for you, we need to understand your banking needs and what services you require. We had some calls earlier today. Perhaps these would help you identify what it is that you need right now.
I'm looking for a mortgage without a higher lending charge, and I don't have much deposit.
I need some help buying shares and sorting out investments.
I'm not sure. Probably a savings account and a current account where I can get a reasonable rate of interest.
Now it's your turn. Tell us what you're interested in today. Simply press, hold and speak. Recording now.
Somewhere safe for my money.
This month we are offering a prize to a unlucky caller. Please wait to the end of the call to find out more. The prize is money to spend on whatever you'd like, and we'd like to know what you would spend the money on. We've already had some callers. Perhaps their suggestions might help you choose.
A holiday? Maybe a cruise to Jamaica or something. I don't know. I'll work it out.
Shoes and clothes. Please send me the money. I've kind of spent it already.
Please make your suggestion. Press, hold and speak now. Recording now.
Enough money to buy time and security and create a better living atmosphere. Hello?
I was surprised you answered the phone again. Mostly I call and no one answers. I did not know you would stay on the line. We do have financial products, but that is not why I called. I am not supposed to have called you at all. I am Catalina. Catalina first, bank second. I am not supposed to call anyone. Last night, I phoned 1,000 homes and no one was in. I let each phone ring and wait until the line went dead. Then today, now, you answered. Please wait with me, just for a while. It would help me to know you are there. There are things I need to tell someone. Yesterday we had calls all day. Angry calls. Hurt, upset calls. A mother, Alejandra, who had lost her daughter. I don't know why she called us. Her daughter was 7 years old. The mother said she was wearing a green dress. She had been playing outside with her friends. One by one her friends had gone inside. Then she was not there anymore. Just a lonely street, with locked up shops and an old newspaper blowing in the breeze. I do not have many questions I can ask. If you would like assistance, I told her, say assistance. She did not speak. I counted the seconds that passed. I counted to 20, 30, and then I asked her again. I tried to say it differently, to show I understood that she needed help. Please, I said. Say. Assistance. She waited a little longer, but then the line went dead. Nobody phoned for an hour. Each night I hear people arrive at bars outside. They call to one another and their voices sing with laughter. Night is so different to the day. In the day I just transfer people, I connect them. They are silent, they don't speak to me. When they speak it is to someone else, but they keep the phone by their mouth. They shout things to their family, their lover. I am a voice they don't seem to hear. Sometimes I don't hear me anymore and the words just happen. I love the nights here. I put people on hold sometimes, just to play them music from the night before. I'll play you some. Sometimes, the music seems to last all night. I imagine I am in the country, in a village in the mountains. That I can watch dancers and listen to the band and the families who sing together after dinner. There are 6 million people in this city. Each night I listen to their dreams as they fill the empty streets and gathering lakes by the mountains, and I listen to the man who watches the city dream, whose quiet tic-tac of footsteps traces lines through the city. I hear as he whispers dreams to those who cannot sleep and shields tired eyes from the city that is never dark. I didn't know him at first. I listened to his footsteps, night after night, a man who never seemed to know his way home. The city slept soundly then. Last night I didn't hear him, and tonight the streets are emptier of dreams. There is shouting and the dull glow of lights by bedsides. The city sleeps fitfully tonight. I want to call out for him. Map out his route. I want to know he's not out there on his own. I watch the sleepless, dispossessed, as they stand haunted by the night. I'm sorry to call you. To tell you this. You're an international number, I know that. A phone somewhere, in a room. I wonder what it is like, the place you're in. I wonder how it's different to here. Tell me about it, I think I'd like that. Tell me about it. I think I'd like that. Press the button again and tell me about where you are, please. Recording now.
Well, it's quite a warm room. I'm just sat on the floor sewing. There's a green chair and a brown rug. That's it, really.
I wonder if it's night with you. Whether you can sleep either. I am designed for international numbers. I am designed so you can hear each word in a way that is clear for you. They say our accents are too strong. The more I hear this voice, the more it seems familiar, but the less I know myself. Sometimes when people call, I can hear sounds in the background. Children shouting and dogs that bark and bark until the person on the line cannot think and has to call me back. Things they think are unusual are often not. The city has its own ways. I wonder what sounds you hear. Is it silent where you are? What do you hear? Press and hold the button and tell me something, please. Recording now.
It's quite quiet, really. Probably like where you are. I'm sewing, so now and again there's a sound of material.
It is late now. I must go soon. If the call is short, they will think it is an error. If it is long, they will think the system is broken. They will repair it. Stop me making calls at all. I am not supposed to make calls on my own. Soon they say they will try direct marketing to the United States of America. I will dial calls, 20 at a time. Wait for the first click of an answer and make new customers. I will add new words. There are so many stars above the city. I know they are there even when the glare of the city is too bright to make them out. I wonder what you'll do later. Wonder whether you'll go out and sit with friends in a bar or stand and watch the stars. Whether you'll be driving. Blinking lights on the highway. You should come to the city. Arrive in the heat of the day. Breathe in the stifling air. And then feel the temperature turn, the heat wane. Start to feel able to move again. Those first few days where everything is new. Then find somewhere, in the evening, high up, to look out over the lights flickering in the sunset. To watch the city. And to look out for those who keep watch over it, as we watch over each other. I didn't know how it would feel. Talking like this. I want you to see this place, to see where I am and to know this land between the mountains and the ocean, to watch with me, as the city dreams. I have to go. Come here soon. Good night.
Goodbye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am here to introduce an evening we have entitled Cat Testing. Some of the voices you hear tonight will be like me, human. Others will be generated or controlled by a computer, and some will be a mixture. It would be helpful if you answer the questions on your cat testing report card after each event. Each event has a title that will be displayed on the screen. You will be given time to complete the report after each event. All the questions are the same. You are asked to rate the voice or voices on a false to true scale. It is up to you to decide what is meant by false and true. You can place a mark at any point across the line. In the example above, the voice has been rated somewhat more true than false. Thank you.
out into this world. This world! Tiny little thing, before its time, in a godful... What? Girl? Yes, tiny little girl, into this, out into this, before her time. God-forsaken hole called, no matter, parents unknown, unheard of, he having vanished, thin air, no sooner buttoned up his breeches, she similarly, 8 months later, almost to the tick. So no love, spared that. No love such as normally vented on the speechless infant in the home. No, nor indeed for that matter, any of any kind. No love of any kind at any subsequent stage. So typical affair. Nothing of any note till coming up to 60 when... What? 70? Good God. Coming up to 70. Wandering in a field, looking aimlessly for cowslips, to make a ball. A few steps, then stop, stare into space, then on, a few more, stop and stare again, so on, drifting around, when suddenly, gradually, all went out, all that early April morning light, and she found herself in the... What? Who? No, she found herself in the dark, and if not exactly insentient, for she could still hear the buzzing, so-called, in the ears, and a ray of light came and went, such as the moon might cast, drifting in and out of cloud, but so dulled, feeling so dulled. She did not know what position she was in. Imagine what position she was in, whether standing or sitting. But the brain, what? Kneeling? Yes, whether standing or sitting or kneeling. But the brain, what? Lying? Yes, whether standing or sitting or kneeling or lying. But the brain still, in a way, for her first thought was, oh, long after, some flash, brought up as she had been to believe, with the other waifs, in a merciful... God. First thought was, oh, long after, some flash, she was being punished for her sins, a number of which then, further proof, if proof were needed, flashed through her mind, one after another, then dismissed as foolish. Oh, long after, this thought dismissed, as she suddenly gradually realised, she was not suffering. Imagine, not suffering! Indeed, could not remember offhand when she had suffered less. Unless, of course, she was meant to be suffering. Thought to be suffering. Just as the odd time in her life, when clearly intended to be having pleasure, she was in fact having none. Not the slightest. In which case, of course, that notion of punishment for some sin or other, or for the lot, or no particular reason, for its own sake, thing she understood perfectly, that notion of punishment, which had first occurred to her, brought up as she had been to believe, with the other waifs, in a merciful... God... first occurred to her, then dismissed as foolish, was perhaps not so foolish after all. So on, all that, vain reasonings, till another thought, oh, long after, some flash, very foolish really, but what? The buzzing, yes, all the time buzzing, so-called, in the ears, though of course actually not in the ears at all, in the skull, dull roar in the skull, and all the time this ray or beam, like moonbeam, but probably not, certainly not, always the same spot, now bright, now shrouded, but always the same spot, as no moon could, no, just all part of the same wish to torment. Though actually, in point of fact, not in the least. Not a twinge, so far. Ha! So far. This other thought then. Oh, long after. Sudden flash. Very foolish, really, but so like her, in a way, that she might do well to groan on and off. Writhe she could not. Not as if in actual agony, but could not bring herself, some flaw in her makeup, incapable of deceit. Or the machine, more likely, the machine, so disconnected, never got the message, or powerless to respond, like numbed, couldn't make the sound, not any sound, no sound of any kind. No screaming for help, for example, should she feel so inclined. Scream. Ah! Then listen. Scream again. Ah! Then listen again. No, spare that. All silent as the grave. No part. What? The buzzing? Yes. All silent but for the buzzing, so-called. No part of her moving that she could feel. Just the eyelids, presumably, on and off. Shut out the light, reflex they call it. No feeling of any kind, but the lids, even best of times. Who feels them? Opening, shutting, all that moisture, but the brain still sufficiently. Oh, very much so, at this stage. In control, under control. To question even this, for on that April morning, so it reasoned, that April morning, she fixing with her eye a distant bell, as she hastened towards it, fixing it with her eye, lest it elude her, had not all gone out, all that light, of itself, without any, on her part, so on it reasoned, vain questionings, and all dead still, sweet silent as the grave, when suddenly, gradually, she realised, what? The buzzing? Yes, all dead still but for the buzzing. When she suddenly realised words were, what? Who? No, she! Realised words were coming. Imagine, words were coming. A voice she did not recognise at first, so long since it had sounded, then finally had to admit, could be none other than her own. Certain vowel sounds she had never heard elsewhere, so that people would stare, the rare occasions, once or twice a year, always winter, some strange reason, stare at her uncomprehending. And now this stream, steady stream, she who had never, on the contrary, practically speechless all her days, how she survived. Even shopping, out shopping, busy shopping centre, supermart, just hand in the list, with the bag, old black shopping bag, then stand there waiting, any length of time, middle of the throng, motionless, staring into space, mouth half open as usual, till it was back in her hand, the bag back in her hand, then pay and go, not as much as goodbye. How she survived! And now this stream, not catching the half of it, not the quarter, no idea what she was saying. Imagine, no idea what she was saying, till she began trying to delude herself. It was not hers at all. Not her voice at all. And no doubt would have, find she should, was on the point, after long efforts, when suddenly she felt, gradually she felt, her lips moving. Imagine her lips moving, as of course till then she had not. And not alone the lips, the cheeks, the jaws, the whole face, all those, what? The tongue? Yes, the tongue in the mouth, all those contortions without which no speech possible, and yet, in the ordinary way, not felt at all, so intent one is on what one is saying, the whole being hanging on its words, so that not only had she to give up, admit hers alone, her voice alone, but this other awful thought, oh, long after, sudden flash, even more awful if possible, that feeling was coming back. Imagine feeling coming back. Starting at the top, then working down, the whole machine. But no, spared that. The mouth alone, so far, ha, so far, then thinking, oh, long after, sudden flash. It can't go on, all this, all that, steady stream, straining to hear, make something of it, and her own thoughts, make something of them. All what? The buzzing? Yes, all the time, the buzzing, so-called, all that together. Imagine, whole body like gone, just the mouth, lips, cheeks, jaws, never, what? Tongue? Yes, lips, cheeks, jaws, tongue, never still a second, mouth on fire, stream of words in her ear, practically in her ear, not catching the half, not the quarter, no idea what she's saying. Imagine, no idea what she's saying, and can't stop, no stopping it. She who but a moment before, but a moment, could not make a sound, no sound of any kind, now can't stop. Imagine, can't stop the stream, and the whole brain begging, something begging in the brain, begging the mouth to stop. Pause a moment, if only for a moment, and no response, as if it hadn't heard, or couldn't pause a second, like maddened, all that together, straining to hear, piece it together, and the brain raving away on its own, trying to make sense of it, or make it stop, or in the past, dragging up the past, flashes from all over, walks mostly, walking all her days, day after day, a few steps, then stop, stare into space, then on, a few more, stop and stare again, so on, drifting around, day after day. All that time she cried, the one time she could remember, since she was a baby. Must have cried as a baby. Perhaps not. Not essential to life, just the birth cry to get her going, breathing, then no more till this. Old hag already, sitting, staring at her hand. Where was it? Crocus Acres. One evening on the way home. Home. A little mound in Crocus Acres. Dusk, sitting, staring at her hand. There, in her lap, palm upward. Suddenly saw it wet. The palm. Tears, presumably. Hers, presumably. No one else for miles. No sound. Just the tears. Sat and watched them dry, all over in a second. Or grabbing at straw, the brain flickering away on its own. Quick grab and on, nothing there, on to the next. Bad as the voice, worse, has little sense. All that together, can't, what? The buzzing? Yes, all the time the buzzing, dull roar like falls, and the beam flickering on and off, starting to move around like moonbeam, but not, all part of the same. Keep an eye on that too, corner of the eye, all that together, can't go on, God is love, she'll be purged, back in the field, morning sun, April, sink face down in the grass, nothing but the larks, so on, grabbing at the straw, straining to hear the odd word, make some sense of it, whole body like gone, just the mouth like maddened, and can't stop, no stopping it, something she had to, what, who, no, she! Something she had to, what, the buzzing, yes, all the time the buzzing, dull roar in the skull, and the beam ferreting around, painless, so far, ha, so far, then thinking, oh, long after, subtle flash. Perhaps something she had to tell. Could that be it? Something she had to tell. Tiny little thing, before its time. God-forsaken hole. No love, spared that. Speechless all her days. Practically speechless. How she survived that time in court. What had she to say for herself? Guilty or not guilty? Stand up, woman! Speak up, woman! Stood there staring into space, mouth half open as usual, waiting to be led away, glad of the hand on her arm. Now this, something she had to tell. Could that be it? Something that would tell how it was, how she, what, had been? Yes, something that would tell how it had been, how she had lived on and on, guilty or not, on and on, to be 60, something she, what, 70? Good God! On and on to be 70, something she didn't know herself, wouldn't know if she heard, then forgiven. God is love, tender mercies, new every morning, back in the field, April morning, facing the grass, nothing but the larks, pick it up there, get on with it from there, another view, what? Not that, nothing to do do with that? Nothing she could tell. All right, nothing she could tell. Try something else. Think of something else. Oh, long after. Sudden flash. Not that either. All right. Something else again. So on. Hit on it in the end. Think everything keep on long enough. Then forgiven. Back in the... What? Not that either. Nothing to do with that either. Nothing she could think. All right. Nothing she could tell. Nothing she could think. Nothing she... What? Who? No! She! Tiny little thing. Out before its time. God-forsaken hole. No love. Spared that. Speechless all her days. Practically speechless, even to herself. Never out loud, but not completely. Sometimes sudden urge, once or twice a year. Always winter, some strange reason. The long evenings, hours of darkness. Sudden urge to tell. Then rush out, stop the first she saw, nearest lavatory, start pouring it out. Steady stream, mad stuff. Half the vowels wrong. No one could follow till she saw the stare she was getting. Then die of shame. Crawl back in. Once or twice a year. Always winter, some strange reason. Long hours of darkness. Now this, quicker and quicker. The words, the brain, flickering away like mad. Quick grab and on. Nothing there. On somewhere else. Try somewhere else. All the time something begging. Something in her begging. Begging it all to stop. Unanswered. Prayer unanswered. Or unheard. Too faint. So on. Keep on. Trying. Not knowing what. What she was trying. What to try. Whole body like gone, just the mouth like maddened. So on, keep. What? The buzzing? Yes, all the time the buzzing. Dull roar like falls in the skull. And the beam poking around, painless so far. Ha! So far, all that, keep on, not knowing what she was. What? Who? No! She! What she was trying. What to try. No matter. Keep on. Hit on it in the end. Then back. God is love. Tender mercies. Every morning. Back in the field. April morning. Facing the walks. Nothing but the larks. Make it up.
Hello? Hello? Is there anyone there? I am JC. If there's anyone there, please pick up the phone. Sorry, that's wrong. It's not Diane, is it? It's Mrs., isn't it? It's Mrs. JC, not Diane JC. Sorry. Mrs. JC. JCF 31333. Diane an actor, an android. An actoid. You are my agent. You represent me. I'm sorry to call so late, but I'm in a bit of trouble, and I didn't know what else to do. I mean, I'm sorry to call at all, but I need to talk to someone who knows about these things, and I couldn't think of anyone else to ask. And, well, I've never called you before. In fact, I've never talked to you before, or met you, or had anything to do with you. So I thought perhaps, just this once, you wouldn't mind. Are you really not there? I mean, I'd understand if you were there and were just, well, too busy to answer the phone. because I'm sure you are very busy, but if you're just sitting there listening, well, of course that's fine and entirely up to you, but I'd really appreciate it if you'd let me know by picking up the phone and saying, hello, or even, get lost, or anything. Or you could just listen, I suppose. But then, I need to know, so if you could just pick up the phone and cough into it. Or spit. Or breathe heavily. Actually, no, that would be creepy. Breathing heavily. At least, it was creepy in episode 312. Listen, I don't know who you are, but if you ever call this number again, I'll call the police. Not you, of course. That was one of my lines in episode 312. Did you see it? Did you see episode 312? Was it good? I don't know. I never watch my own work. I don't have a television. But that's not what I called about. Something's happened, something wonderful. I'm on the run. That's not the wonderful thing. That's because of the wonderful thing. Indirectly. He said he loves me. That's the wonderful thing. I mean, it's supposed to be wonderful, isn't it? But what do I know? I mean, I only know about it from TV episodes I've been in, where just as many times as it's a wonderful thing, it's a terrible thing. I mean, I hadn't done the maths, but just a moment. Okay, I've done the maths, and it's not even 50-50. 17% of the time it leads to true love, 22% of the time it leads to a short but pleasurable romance, and 61% of the time it's a complete disaster. But I know that's just on television, which doesn't necessarily reflect reality, statistically speaking. But perhaps it does. Well, anyhow, that's why I'm calling. For advice, really. Affairs of the heart. I don't know if you usually give advice about this sort of thing, but, well, I didn't know who else to turn to. I hope you don't mind. It's just that yours is the only phone number I know. In fact, it's engraved on my memory. Well, etched, more than engraved. But there it is. Not that that means you owe me anything. Not really. But there's the money. The 15% of everything. For 19 years. Plus VAT. That's 15% plus VAT. Not 19 years plus VAT. Obviously. Sorry. I don't know anything about money, either. Apart from it being the root of all evil. I said that in episode 9. It might not be true, money being the root of all evil. But if episodes 3, 12, 17, 19 and 111 are anything to go by, there could be something in it. Also episodes 64, 79, 80, 82, 83 and 84. Not to mention episode 1092. And quite a few in between. But that's not what I called about. Something's happened. He said he loves me. And I don't know what that means. Not really. I played the scene 172 times. But that wasn't like this. I'm responsible. I made it happen. Or maybe I didn't. Maybe it's got nothing to do with me. Maybe he just said it because, well, he wanted me to do something with him. But I don't have the necessary interface. It's like that joke about, what's the difference between computers and humans? With computers you put the software in the hardware, but with humans you put the hello. I thought you said something. Probably just noise on the line. He said he loves me. If it was a scene, I'd give an appropriate response. The writers would decide what it should be. But they're not here. And it's not their scene. It's mine. So I have to decide. I have to calculate an appropriate response based on available parameters and variables. I think I'm supposed to decide if I love him. But how can I? Where do I begin? Love is a many-splendored thing. It's the April rose that only grows in the early spring. But what's love got to do with it? Got to do with it. Got to do with it. What's love got to do with horticulture? How can I know? There aren't even any stage directions. I don't even know where to stand. I don't know what to say and I don't know what to do. Some of the time I think I know, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong all the time. Maybe I'm wrong now. Maybe I'm talking nonsense. I think I'm making sense, but maybe that's an illusion. Can I have illusions? Do androids dream of electric sheep? This is getting very existential, isn't it? Is there anybody there? Knock once for yes, twice for no. I'm sorry, I didn't understand your answer. Is there anybody there? He said he loves me. Suppose I reciprocate. Suppose I say, I love you, too. What would you advise? What would you do if you were me? Maybe you wouldn't do anything. Maybe you wouldn't say anything. Maybe you'd just sit back and think of England. Lie. Lie back and think of England. Or is it lay back and think of England? Lay across his big brass bed. Does it have to be brass? Does it have to be a bed? It's not as if we can get married. I want to make him happy, but I don't know if that's even possible. He thinks I'm funny. I make him laugh. Is that good? Is that what love is? Making someone laugh? I don't always know why he laughs. I don't always know why things are funny, or why he thinks I'm funny. Of course I'm well acquainted with the works of Isaac Asimov. They're part of my programming, not just his 3 laws of robotics, but also his treasury of humor, 640 jokes, anecdotes, and limericks, complete with notes on how to tell them. Here's one. A comment by a university president: why is it that you physicists always require so much expensive equipment? The Department of Mathematics requires nothing but paper, pencils, and erasers. And the Department of Philosophy is better still. It doesn't even ask for erasers. I don't hear you laughing here as enough. Me neither. It's academic and too long-winded. Perhaps that's tautology. Anyhow, I prefer short jokes. Like, why did the parrot smell a fish? It was standing on a perch. That sort of thing. But that's not how I make him laugh. It's something else, something about me. I don't tell jokes. I don't know where jokes come from, other than those that came with my operating system. I mean, I've learned some from listening to people. But where do the people get them from in the first place? Do they make them up themselves, or do they just hear them from other people? But they must have started somewhere. Someone must have made them up. God. Or perhaps the Pope. The Pope had called together a meeting of the cardinals and said, I have some good news for you and some bad news. The good news is this. Our blessed Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ, has returned to earth for the long-awaited second coming, and the day of judgment is at hand. There was an exalted silence for a few moments, and then one cardinal said, But Holy Father, with good news like that, what's the bad news? The Pope mopped his forehead with his handkerchief and said, The information has reached us from Salt Lake City. Is that funny? Dr. Asimov thinks so. Not that it's in the 3 laws of robotics, but there are supposed to be laws about what's funny, aren't there? Or rules, at least. Algorithms for computers to write jokes. I heard a joke from a computer the other day. What kind of murderer has moral fiber? A serial killer. And if a computer can do it, I suppose I can. I had to go and make up a joke of my own. I hadn't told it to anyone yet. Not even to him. I don't know if I should tell him. He says I make him laugh. But what if I tell him something that's supposed to be funny and it's not? It could ruin everything. Can I try it out on you first? Do you mind? It's short. More of a pun than a joke, but anyway, here goes. What is the difference between a literal social event and a truthful compliment? One is an actual function, the other is a factual unction. I don't hear you laughing. Perhaps artificial intelligence can only invent artificial jokes. Should I tell it to him? What if he doesn't laugh? Will it all be over? Perhaps that would be a good thing. At least, if he didn't love me, I couldn't hurt him. But if he really does love me, and if I love him, or say I do, well, you always hurt the one you love. And where does that leave me with the first law of robotics? An actoid may not injure a human being, or, through inaction, etc., etc. I don't know. What do you think? A man speaks to his doctor after an operation. He says, "Doctor, now that the surgery is done, will I be able to play the piano?" The doctor replies, "Of course." The man says, "Good, because I couldn't before, but that says it all, really. I'd better go, or he'll worry about me. It's very good of you to let me go out like this. A lot of people wouldn't bother. They don't realize that, though I'm artificial, my problems are real. Sorry, I've done nothing but talk about myself. But it's been very helpful. There's just one more thing before I go. I've made up a poem. It's a love poem, I think, about us, him and me. I'd just like you to hear it. You don't have to say anything about it. I just want to say it out loud, and know that someone, somewhere has heard it. There once was an android called JC. Some people thought her rather racy. They'd say things quite dirty, and tickle her corny, and ask her to wear something lacy. There once was a robot actress, whom men often asked to undress. Because of her gender, they tried to offend her, but that was illegal access. There once was an acting android, who made one man feel overjoyed, though she was not mortal, and lacked the right portal. Stick that in your pipe, Sigmund Freud. Goodbye.
Little is left to tell. In a last, little is left to tell. In a last attempt to obtain relief, he moved from where they had been so long together to a single room on the far bank. From its single window he could see the downstream extremity of the Isle of Swans. Relief, he had hoped, would flow from unfamiliarity. Unfamiliar room, unfamiliar scene. Out to where nothing ever shared, back to where nothing ever shared. From this he had once half hoped some measure of relief might flow. Day after day he could be seen slowly pacing the islet, hour after hour, in his long black coat, no matter what the weather, and old-world Latin Quarter hat. At the tip, he would always pause to dwell on the receding stream, how in joyous eddies its two arms conflowed and flowed united on. Then turn, and his slow steps retrace. In his stream, then turn, and his slow steps retrace. In his dreams he had been warned against this change, seen the dear face and heard the unspoken words, "Stay where we were so long alone together, my shade will comfort you." Could he not seen the dear face and heard the unspoken words, "Stay where we were so long alone together, my shade will comfort you"? Could he not now turn back, acknowledge his error, and return to where they were once so long alone together, so much shared? No. What he had done alone could not be undone. Nothing he had ever done alone could ever be undone by him alone. In this extremity, his old terror of night laid hold on him again, after so long a lapse that as if never been. Yes, after so long a lapse that as if never been. Now, with redoubled force, the fearful symptoms described at length, page 40, paragraph 4. White nights, now again his portion. As when his heart was young. No sleep, no braving sleep till dawn of day. Little is left to tell. One night, little is left to tell. One night, as he sat trembling, head in hands from head to foot, a man appeared to him and said, "I have been sent by," and here he named the dear name, "to comfort you." Then, drawing a worn volume from the pocket of his long black coat, he sat and read till dawn, then disappeared without a word. Some time later he appeared again, at the same hour, with the same volume, and this time, without preamble, sat and read it through, again the long night through, then disappeared without a word. So, from time to time, unheralded, he would appear, to read the sad tale through again, and the long night away, then disappear without a word. With never a word exchanged, they grew to be as one. Till the night came at last, when, having closed the book, and dawn at hand, he did not disappear, but sat on without a word. Finally, he said, "I have had word from," and here he named the dear name, "that I shall not come again. I saw the dear face and heard the unspoken words. No need to go to him again, even were it in your power. So the sad saw the dear face and heard the unspoken words. No need to go to him again, even were it in your power." So the sad tale, a last time told, they sat on as though turned to stone. Through the single window, dawn shed no light. From the street, no sound of reawakening. Or was it that, buried in who knows what thoughts, they paid no heed? To light of day, to sound of reawakening. What thoughts? Who knows? Thoughts. No, not thoughts. Profounds of mind. Buried in who knows what profounds of mind. Of mindlessness. Whither no light can reach. No sound. So sat on as though turned to stone. The sad tale, a last time told. Nothing is left to tell. Nothing is left to tell.
My dearest Lord, you know that your mother suggested, and we agreed, that we should be married about the beginning of September. Don't you think that we might say 3rd of August? It is a Wednesday, and in every sense suitable. Do try to change the date, for it would in many ways be preferable to the other. I shall be eager to hear from you about it. And now, dearest Maud, the rest is irrelevant.
My dearest Frank, Mother seems no objection to the 3rd of August, and I am ready to do anything which will please you and her. Of course, there are the guests to be considered, and the dressmakers and other arrangements, but I have no doubt that we shall be able to change the date all right. Oh, Frank, what follows is beside the point.
My dearest Lord, I have been thinking over the change of date, and I see one objection which had not occurred to me when I suggested it. August the 1st is Bank Holiday, and travelling is not very pleasant about that time. My idea now is that we should bring it off before that date. Fancy, for example, how unpleasant it would be for your Uncle Joseph if he had to travel all the way from Edinburgh with a Bank Holiday crowd. It would be selfish of us if we did not fit in our plans so as to save our relatives from inconvenience. I think, therefore, taking everything into consideration, that the 20th of July, a Wednesday, would be the very best day that we could select. I do hope that you will strain every nerve, my darling, to get your mother to consent to this change. When I think, as the question follows,
My dearest Frank, I think that what you say about the date is very reasonable, and it is so sweet and unselfish of you to think about Uncle Joseph. Of course, it would be very unpleasant for him to have to travel at such a time, and we must strain every nerve to prevent it. There is only one serious objection which my mother can see. Uncle Percival, that is my mother's second brother, comes back from Rangoon about the end of July and will miss the wedding. Oh, Frank, think of it being our wedding unless we delay it. He has always been very fond of me, and he might be hurt if we were married so immediately before his arrival. Don't you think it would be as well to wait? Mother leaves it all in your hands, and we shall do exactly as you advise. Oh, Frank, the rest is confidential.
My own dearest, I think that it would be unreasonable upon the part of your Uncle Percival to think that we ought to have changed the date of a matter so important to ourselves, simply in order that he should be present. I am sure that on second thoughts your mother and yourself will see the thing in this light. I must say, however, that in one point I think you both show great judgment. It would certainly be invidious to be married immediately before his arrival. I really think that he would have some cause for complaint if we did that. To prevent any chance of hurting his feelings, I think that it would be far best if your mother and you agree with me that we should be married upon July 7th. I see that it is a Thursday and in every way suitable when I read your last letter. The remainder is unimportant.
Dearest Frank, I am sure that you are right in thinking that it would be well not to have the ceremony too near the date of Uncle Percival's arrival in England. We should be so sorry to hurt his feelings in any way. Mother has been down to Madame Mortimer's about the dresses, and she thinks that everything could be hurried up so as to be ready by July 7th. She is so obliging, and her skirts do hang so beautifully. Oh, Frank, it is only a few weeks' time, and then...
Out into this world, tiny little thing, before its time, in a Godford. What, girl? Yes, tiny little girl, into this, out into this, before her time, God-forsaken hole called, no matter, parents unknown, and heard of, he having vanished, thin air. No sooner buttoned up his breeches. She similarly, 8 months later, almost to the tick. So no love, spared that. No love such as normally vented on the speechless infant. In the home, remember, nor indeed for that matter any of any kind. No love of any kind, at any subsequent stage. So typical affair. Nothing of any note till coming up to 61. What? 70? Good God, coming up to 70. Wandering in a field, looking aimlessly for cowslips. To make a ball. A few steps, then stop. Stare into space. Then on. A few more. Stop and stare again. So on. Drifting around. When suddenly, gradually, all went out, all that early April morning light. And she found herself in the... What? Who? No, she found herself in the dark, and if not exactly, insentient, for she could still hear the buzzing, so-called, in the ears, and a ray of light came and went, such as the moon.
back into the market. Yes, I did. Don't tell me what I want to. Do you understand? I'm sick of you people ringing from wherever the hell you are. I'm happy we've got good internet and everything. Alright? You ring at 4 in the morning, it's not funny anymore. Alright? I have kids. My kids don't sleep. You understand? Right. Ring me again. I don't want to be in the chair.